Howdy doody. Today I'm going to be going over a couple of problems related with some basic statistics. Now our main focus today is on mean, median, and mode, but the ones I'm going to be looking at first both have to do with an average, a mean. Alright, so let's start with question number 8 here. Given x bar, that's how you would read that, x bar equals 11.6, so that means the average is 11.6, and n equals 10, that means there's 10 terms. Calculate the sum from 1 to 10 of xi. So that means just add up all 10 of the terms. Now, in order to understand this, let's see if we can look at some averages and some basic ideas. Can you write down for me two numbers that have an average of 5? Okay, well, you should be able to at least list down 5 and 5, because you add those two together, you get 10, you divide by 2, right? You get 5. All right, name two more numbers that have an average of 5. How about 4 and 6? 4 plus 6 is 10, divided by 2, you get 5. That's your average. And 3 and 7. All right, so again, those two will have an average of 5. Now, you'll notice that the sum in all of these situations is exactly the same thing. Now, it has to be, because if you're going to divide by 2 in the end and you're going to end up with 5, then no matter what the numbers are, their sum has to be the same thing. All right, well, let's see if now we can come up with three numbers that have an average of 5. All right, so let's go, obviously, 5, 5, and 5 should add up to 15, divided by 3, and I get 5. Well, that makes sense. They were all 5s. Okay, what about 4, 5, and 6? 6 is one more than 5, 4 is one less than 5, therefore they should average out to be 5. 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 6 is 15, divided by 3 would give us 5. Okay, maybe one that's a little bit, that doesn't even have a 5. So let's go maybe 4, 4, and 7, right? So 7 is 2 above, these 4s are 1 below, so give 1 to each of those. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 7 is 15. So no matter what, if you know what the average is and you know how many terms there are, you know what the total sum is. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this example. Given x bar equals 11.6, that means that the total average is 11.6. Now, if the total average is 11.6, just like over here, the average or the mean was 5, that means that if we know how many terms there are, when there were 2 terms, it was 2 times 5, which gave us 10. Here, when there were 3 terms, it was 3 times the average, which is 3 times 5, which is 15. So, if we know that there are 10 terms, and the average is 11.6, all we need to do is take the average and multiply by n, how many terms there are. Because no matter what, they need to add up to have that sum. And so we get 116. Ta-da! Let's do another one. Let's do another one with the average, and then we'll look at something a little bit different. Here we go. So here we got Jana took 7 spelling tests, each with 12 words, but she could only find the results of 5 of them. 9, 5, 7, 9, and 10. So this is important. 12 words. Okay, that'll be important later. She asked her teacher for the other 2 results, and the teacher said that the mode of her scores was 9. What a sneaky spelling teacher. I'd expect this from a math teacher, but a spelling teacher? Man, so sneaky. The teacher said the mode was 9. Okay, so that means the most common is 9, and the mean is 8. All right? Given that Jana knows her worst result was a 5, so nothing less than a 5, find the 2 missing results. All right, so let's look at what we have. We know that the mode is 9. Right now, the mode is 9. Now, that means that I'm going to have to add in 2 more things between 5 and 12, obviously, that will eventually give me a mode of 9. Now, I could add in a 5, a 7, or a 10 as long as the other one's a 9. Right? I can't add a 7 without adding a 9, because 2 7s and 2 9s would give us 2 different modes. It would be bimodal, and either we would have to state that there were 2 modes, or you would have to average the 2. So we can't really do that. The other idea is well, we could just have a 6 and an 8, right? And that would leave the mode being 9. So is that helpful right now? Maybe, maybe not. So why don't we go into the mean and see if we can do something with the mean. Okay, so I need to take 9 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 10, and then plus the other 2. So I'm going to add x and y. And if I divide all those by 7, it should give me the average, which is 8. So let's go ahead and find out what x and y are. And you say, but I got 2 variables. Yes, you do have 2 variables. Deal with it. Okay, let's multiply both sides by 7. And so I'm going to have 9 plus 5 is 14, plus 7 is 21, plus 9 is 30, plus 10 is 40. So I'm going to have 40 plus x plus y. The 7s will cancel out, leaving me with 56. I'll subtract 40 from each side. And so then I'll have x plus y equals 16. Now, at this point, at least I know what those two numbers need to add up to be. So what are the possibilities? What could it possibly be? Well, the highest score is a 12. So it could be a 12 and a 4. It could be an 11 and a 5, right? These two numbers have to add up to give me 16. It could be 10 and 6. It could be 9 and 7. And then it could be 8 and 8. Okay, so those are the possibilities. Let's see if we can go through and cross some of these out now. Now we know that the worst result was a 5, and so that means it can't be this one right here. All right, so there it goes. It's gone. All right, what else can we take out? Well, if I had an 11 and a 5, that would mean I have 2 5s and 2 11s. That's a problem because then the mode is no longer 9, so we got to take out that one. All right, 10 and 6. All right, if I add in a 10 and a 6, see, that's going to give me the same problem. I'm going to have 2 10s, and I'm going to have a 6 and 2 9s, which means I have 2 modes. The mode is supposed to be 9, so I can take out that one. How about 9 and 7? Well, that one's okay because that's going to give me 3 9s and 2 7s, so that should work out all right. And then again, if I add in 2 8s, then I'm going to have 2 9s and 2 8s, which means that the mode would no longer be 9. So by looking for the average first and putting down the possibilities, we find out that really the only possibility is that the two missing results are 9 and 7. Ta-da! All right, let's do one more, since I had a question about this one. The question was actually, how do I find the median using a frequency table? Well, okay, let's look at it. We'll do mode and mean first, because those should be fairly straightforward. But let's just go through. The table alongside shows the results when 3 coins were tossed simultaneously 30 times. So I'm flipping 3 different coins, and then I write down how many heads there are, and I do that 30 times. Okay, so let's first calculate the mode. Okay, so the mode is the one that happens most often. Well, that you don't really have to calculate. You just look at it. Here it is. The mode is 1 head. So 1. All right, letter B is the median, and letter C is the mode. So, C is the mean. So let's do the median. The median is the one that's in the middle. Okay, well, if I had 30 numbers, right, if there were 30, how would I find the middle one, right? I would cancel them out. So I would have the first number, the second number, all the way up to 29 and 30. So I'd be canceling them out, 1 and 30, and then 2 and then 29, all the way down to the middle. Now, the middle should occur right in the center of those 30. Now, if you think about it, you could come up with that, well, there's a 15 here and a 16 here, because there should be 15 on this side and 15 on that side. Now, if you want a mathematical formula, you can actually take n plus 1 and divide by 2, and that should give you the term of the median. Okay, now you'll look that if we find the center, it would be between the 15 and 16, which is essentially 15.5. Okay, same thing would happen here. If I took 30 and added 1 and divided by 2, I'd get 31 over 2, which is 15.5. So that means I need the 15.5th term, which is, you know, halfway between term 15 and 16. So here I've got 4 terms. Here I've got 12. So if I put those two together, that gives me 16 terms. So both the 15th and 16th terms are right here with one head. And so therefore, the median would be one head, because the central term would be right there inside of those first 16 terms, right? There's only 14 here, and so the central one has to be inside of the bigger group there, the 16. It's at the very edge of that group, but it's inside that 16. All right, and then last of all, we need to find the mean, the average. Now, the only way to do that is that we'll use the idea of a frequency. So 4 times, I got 0 heads. Okay, 12 times, I got 1 head. 11 times, I got 2 heads. And 3 times, I got 3 heads. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm taking 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 plus 1 plus 12 times, and then plus 11 twos, and then plus 3 threes. And so that way I'm going to find out the total number of heads that occurred. Now, of course, I've got to divide that by the total number. Okay, so we can go ahead and put all that together now. 4 times 0 is 0, but I'll go ahead and put it in just for the heck of it. Plus 12 times 1 plus 11 times 2 plus 3 times 3. Okay, add all those together, and then we'll divide by 30, and the average is 1.43. So 1.43 heads. All right, so there you go. We've done the mode, the median, and the mean, and that's all. Hopefully that's helpful in your homework. Ciao.